Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome, and thanks very much for making a great effort. Many of you have come from all over the country, north, south, and west, not so much east. So this is a really exciting day. We're very honoured to have Dr. Sandra in the country for the first time. And where's May? Do you want to sit up, May? You're going to stay there, and our daughter May. And also Alistair's over, he runs Battersea Clinic as well, so he's come over for the day just to help share, knowledge share, create awareness. So if you have any questions later on, we can actually talk to Alistair as well. With regards to our own Dynamic Energy Spa, which is opening on the 11th of May, we're really excited and we have the technology in the country. The next stage is get the premises upgraded, do a soft start, and then we're basically blessed. We have Alistair consulting and mentoring me and Miranda on our centre, and we're really looking forward to opening the doors. So the 11th of May that opens. This weekend we've got some special offers just for the weekend only. Oh, that's the family. Sorry, that's my wife Miranda and our three daughters. I think you'll see the three of them here. Neve, there's Erin at the back, and Aisling there is in the middle. She's been a pillar to helping us organise, coordinating with Sandra and May. Can you hear me? Yeah. Without the mic anyway. So, again, thanks a million. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy all the learning, and let's welcome on stage Dr. Sandra.
Okay.
There you go.
Figure out.
I'll just move it on to you.
Okay. Let's see. Which way do I want to do this? Well, I'm from a different island. I'm from Hawaii. So I start everything by honoring that sacred breath of eternal life, the energy and the power that interconnects all things, animating our hearts and filling us with the love that we share. So I'm going to ask everybody to take a really deep breath. And what if you could breathe in all of God's love? All the power, all the light, all the love. What if you could breathe in all the energy you could possibly want or need to do anything and everything you could possibly want or need to do to live your greatest life, to fulfill all of your highest purposes in being here now? Okay, so everybody take that deep breath, breathing all the power, all the light, all the love right into your heart. Let more in. Expand. Little more. Okay, so you want to breathe it all in. Go for the expansion. So the exhale, it's that aloha. Because it's breathing all the power, all the light, all the love through every cell, every part of yourselves, through all parts. Letting every cell know and remember the power of the truth of the love of our being here now. So that's aloha. Aloha. You can take this home with you, really. But yeah, I'm recognized as a kahuna. You know, the great white kahuna, everybody hear of that thing? I know it's not an Irish thing, but the most powerful word in the universe for kahuna is aloha, because they said in the prophecies that at the time of crises on the planet, it's aloha that heals the world. And it's that oneness with the breath and the love of all life. So it's that sacred breath, but it's also the dance of the DNA. So I'll explain the technology, but this is what's behind the technology. And it's really very old. It's breathing light, in the Bible, that thing. I think it's the Book of Kells here. But anyway, in the beginning, God breathed the breath of life into man. After that, we're in this free will zone. It's up to us whether we're continually, constantly, consciously reconnecting with that source, energy of all life, or not. And God's only a breath away ever. The word spirit comes from the Latin word spirare, which means to breathe. And that exhale, a total relaxation, so that you can relax into a new place of peace, a new place of power. Relax into your seat of power. So you're accessing your power and allowing that power to rise up. Your spine, your spinal column, is meant to be a standing column of light, standing column or wave. So now we're starting to get into the biophysics. But this is applied, integrated biophysics. So the big thing is, no matter what happens, keep breathing. Everybody got it? Yeah. Okay, that's your secret of longevity. That's your anti-aging process, but God's only a breath away ever. So as soon as you breathe, God's not out there, it's within you. It's like saying, oh yeah. That breath is like saying, oh yeah, I remember who I am. And we need to stand in our power, in our light, and in our love, always. Everybody good with this? Yes. Okay, so now everybody understands the secret. Aloha. Everybody take a deep breath. Aloha. Aloha. Okay. And shaka. Everybody know shaka? Means hang loose away. I think you have a different thing under the kilts and stuff here, but or maybe that was Scotland. I heard about that. I'm still blonde, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. I'm the scientist that does the double blonde studies. But okay. Somewhere I have a presentation too. There we go. Okay. So, and give you a little background on the technology. I wanted you to have a little visual of it, and this is what the technology looks like. It looks like it's technology, but it's kind of like the Matrix, Star Trek, Star Wars got together and had a baby. It's kind of like that. And on the screen, people go, oh, it looks like a broken screensaver or something. Anybody remember screensavers? Okay. I started this technology working on 286 computers and 386s. Anybody remember those? Yeah. There's not a lot of us in this room old enough for that, but anyway. But it's designed to look like 12 strands of DNA on the screen. So it's pretty, though. I mean, it's got to be pretty. Because we are bodies and beings of light. We are beings of light. So you've got your polychromatic color therapy thing going. And these are field engine generators for generating bioactive fields. Means energy that the body relates to. And we'll go back to this a little bit. Did you notice that's an infinity wave? You're breathing all the power, all the light, all the love. Aloha is really an infinity wave. It's a scalar wave. The easiest way to understand scalar is an infinity wave. Everybody got this? See? Okay, that's also part of the dance of the DNA, because it's what allows a spiraling into the double helix of the DNA to release anything that is not of core essence, because the core of the DNA is the stuff from the stars, the light from the stars. We are stardust, essentially, but we are star beings. We are beings of light. We are bodies and beings of light. Prime function of DNA is storage of photons. So photons are your quantums of light. Back to that in the beginning thing, right? Okay, everybody following? This is, I'm trying to step you through applied integrated biophysics. So, it's where, which is where, kind of forgive me, I came in a little different. My mother was fissioning plutonium in the lab, working on the bomb the whole time she was pregnant with me. How many of you have mothers like that? Okay, my parents met in engineering physics, so I see everything as engineering physics. So I grew up with everything being that combination of engineering, electrical, mechanical, structural, engineering, and physics. Yeah, I thought everybody's favorite toys growing up were Geiger counters and gyroscopes. And healing all the animals on the farm, of course, because I grew up on a farm. So, but anyway, so this is applied integrated biophysics in that you find out how all life is energy, and that understanding the DNA, everything is this scalar vortex type effect. So anyway, back to that. It's pretty. It looks cool. You don't have to understand it. It works anyway. I made it a no-brainer. But anyway, so I grew up with that. And then this technology, did I lose? Oh, okay. Technology is great when it works. Okay. But this technology, so I've been teaching over 45 years as far as health. So that's my passion, it's my life. I was healing all the animals on the farm. I was doing all the top secret government experiments because my parents were both top secret scientists, spook scientists. Grew up with that. And so I started in chiropractic, reflexology, nutrition, Ayurveda, 1971. I've been at it a while. I built my first scalar healing light chamber. In the 70s, I studied Rife and radionics, all these different modalities for healing, photonics, all about light. And in 1978, I built my first scalar healing light chamber with material from NASA, and I'd done a bunch of experiments, and I had my own spa, had it all built with power management equipment. So now you get a little bit of the history. and in that spa, in 1978, it was scalar healing light chamber. I could explain it, but you'd step into it, and you'd use power management equipment and all this material. You just stand in it. Nothing touched the body. Same as this. Nothing touching the body. But we saw total reversals of lupus, leukemia, all kinds of cancers, melanomas. Cool, right? Developed the vitamin D on the skin. It was also probably the world's first tanning booth. Because I designed it to develop that vitamin D, which is so critical for health and healing, things like that. So there's a long history as far as me being, working in the, I've been teaching for so long, but mostly I'm a hands-on healer. So, but I started this project, and the first version of this technology was fully installed in 1996. So, again, anything and everything healing, because I started with chiropractic, right? Principle of that is the power that made the body heals the body. Power that made the body heals the body. But how do you plug the body back into that cosmic light socket? Universal unlimited power on. How do you charge the body as quickly and easily as you recharge your cell phone? Everybody knows you got to recharge your cell phone, right? Or it runs down. What do we do with these bodies? Because we're living in such a toxic soup right now that it's taking all the body's energy just to cope with a hostile environment. Without this technology right now, especially since Fukushima happened. Anybody ever hear? Everybody's heard of Fukushima, right? Should have evacuated the whole planet. That was an extinction level event. So we've been fooked. Now what? Because the radiation levels We're so high. So we're living in like a microwave. So my technology was designed. Remember I told you my mother was visioning plutonium in the lab the whole time she was pregnant with me. So I understand radiation literally from the inside out. And that's part of what I came, because I came in going, how do we heal all this? My mom was working on the bomb, my dad was working on stealth bombers. And I'm going, how do we heal all this for the world? And how do we bring healing to the world? And so this was taking that knowledge, okay, we're in, and let's reverse all the damage, because like I said, literally right now it's like we're living in a microwave, and and everybody knows radiation unzips the DNA, shortens telomeres. It's very damaging for the body, And you've got your ionizing radiation from Fukushima and your non-ionizing radiation of your cell phone, your Wi-Fi, smart meters, all these other things. Well, that unzips the DNA. When I put the DNA back to its original divine design, its original matrix, it lengthens the telomeres. Okay? So we developed the technology to reverse all the issues of radiation. So because we really are meant to be radiant beings of light. So coherent, cohesive, unified fields. So unified fields that put everything back. Realize the radiation unzips. Unified fields, let's put it all back in like that standing column or wave of energy. Okay, so back to the story, 1996, first turned on the full system. NASA showed up at the door, was a signature of a nuclear sub on land. Oops. There's whole stories on that. We won't go down that rabbit hole too far today, okay? But that tells you something. Put the entire military on high DEFCON alert. And so then we were studying the effects on the DNA with NASA and found that it was repairing all the breaks in the DNA and lengthening telomeres. And this was back in the 90s. In the meantime, what does that mean for you? It means we've seen anything and everything completely heal because the power that made the body heals the body. And that energy. So it's giving you an ideal, optimal, energetic environment. So 96, initial clinicals, 2001, John Hopkins trained oncologist. We've been doing the homework for quite a while. And then along came, and when I was given this assignment, as far as to do this technology, I was always told to do the homework, lay the foundations, do the research, lay the foundations, because when it goes out, it has to be everywhere fast. So it can't be stopped. Before that, it was primarily in private homes and researchers with top doctors, John Hopkins and Princeton and all these kind of high-level doctors, Harvard, doing the research, and mostly in private homes, so it couldn't be stopped. So now that it's, when it goes out, it has to be everywhere fast. What happened on May 27th of 2022, this is 24 now, it's not quite 2 years. May 27th, 2022, this guy showed up in my living room and said, we've got to do this interview. I've done interviews. If you look out there, you'll see CNN clips and stuff. But he shows up, we've got to do this interview. He was sent to interview me. This is Jason Shirka. And he just does this interview. And the following week, May 27th, this gets pushed out, this interview. How many of you have seen this interview? Oh, that's quite a few of you. How many haven't? Okay, you got some homework to do. You might want to watch that one. It's called The Revolution of Healing. The Revolution of Healing, advancing beyond medbed technologies. Okay, anything you hear about the medbeds we've been doing. But they said when it goes out, it has to be everywhere fast. What happened when this was pushed out? I don't know what, the shift hit the fan. I mean, literally, woof. We had over 70,000 emails in 24 hours from all over the world. After COVID, do you think people were ready for something different? Everybody's looking for something else, right? So I don't know what happened, but it's time. And it's now, we now have, since this went out, we have unified healing. And I'd recommend, if you don't have that information, write it down. Unified, UNIFYD, unifiedhealing.com. If you go to that website, you can put in a search engine for any kind of, anything you want to know about. Do a search, keyword search, testimonials from all over the world. We now have more than 500 centers in more than 50 countries. Is that cool? I mean, before this started, we were literally all over the world in private homes, thousands of installations. But then now it's getting it to the world, getting it to the masses. And that's the thing, it had to be everywhere fast, so it can't be stopped. So welcome to the future. We're in very deep shift as a planet. Everybody get that one? Yeah. Very deep shift, right? Shift has hit the fan now. Shift has hit the fan of accelerated evolution. The Great Awakening will not be stopped worldwide. And that's the people standing up. Stand in your power, your light, your love. And it's truth that sets us free. Part of how our technology works is the cells vibrate and resonate with the power of truth. And so when you go in the system, you'll feel the cells kind of vibrating. They're a bit of a buzz. You hear that all the time, right, Alistair? Tingling, buzz. It's literally cellular excitation. So we'll talk about that because it is very exciting. The evolution revolution is here. It's applied integrated biophysics is the future of medicine. Okay, so at least now you have a little bit of a picture of what the system looks like or can look like. Those fields are precisely aligned to produce these effects. Okay, very, very custom installed. Okay, so one of the first benefits of scalar, when your body has a charge, it wants to discharge everything that doesn't belong. Think about it this way. When first thing the body wants to do when it has more energy is it wants to clean house. And it wants to push out anything and everything that ever created dis-ease or dysfunction in the first place. But when the body has the charge, the cells are charged up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Then the body wants to discharge everything that doesn't belong. Okay, so the world's easiest detox, everything is detox, 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 because we're living in a toxic soup between the electro-pollution, electro-smog, but the toxins in the air, the food, the water. You're a little better off over here in Ireland than the US. Talk about a mess. So the body wants to clean house. So the world's easiest detox is you get in our technology and you take a nap, like charging a cell phone. It charges the most efficiently, if you put it on sleep mode or like rebooting a computer to defrag. So sleeping in it's how it works the best. That's the magic. Where the magic with our technology is in sleeping in it, because the body heals and repairs in the delta and theta brain states in sleep. That's where the brain detoxes. Everybody wants wants better brain function, right? And the brain controls the body. Yeah, so it's very important that you get to the deep delta and theta brain states. Part of what's going on with the electropollution, electrosmog, first symptom of electrosmog is you're being bombarded 24/7, EMF, ELF, radiation, microwave, all this stuff. So then the body never relaxes. So first symptom, sleep disturbances. So the body doesn't get to the deeper delta and theta brain states where it can heal and repair. So that's one of the gifts of this technology. First thing you hear is people, you go in the system and it's a hyper healthy, energetic, pristine environment where the body is fully supported in its ideal functioning. Perfectly supported. What if you had a perfectly supportive environment, right? Where your body is just, the whole body goes, that aloha thing. I can finally frickin' relax because it's been taking all its energy just coping with a hostile environment. Yeah, so that relaxation into those deep healing states. And so that's people go, oh, I didn't feel anything, nothing happened. All I did was I went in there and I fell asleep in the middle of the day, and I never sleep. You know, we hear that all the time, that kind of thing. So, but that's enough. That's where the magic is. And the body, you know, just like rebooting a computer, it's trying to put everything back in coherence, defrag, right? Coherence, where all the functioning is aligned, where the body has the energy to do everything it really wants to do, which is to function perfectly. So then you've got your DNA. I've talked about the DNA, repair of all the breaks in the DNA, lengthening of telomeres. Oh, I forgot to tell you the most important part of the detoxification. The world's easiest detox. Okay, this is an old science, I don't know, Anatomy Physiology 101. You learn that the skin is the largest organ of elimination. Third kidneys, the skin's the third kidneys. And so then, to me, it's criminal that doctors aren't telling people to do a salt bath. Salt bath. But every cell is like a battery, meant to be at 70 to 90 millivoltage when healthy. So that salt bath helps with that charge, reinforce that charge in the body, but also the salt will pull like a magnet. So after being in the system, you're going to do a nice hot salt bath. Every center supports people with doing that, because after body has more energy, first thing it wants to do is clean house, and it's trying to discharge or push toxins out of every nook and cranny you can get it out of as fast as it can. So you don't want to reabsorb it on the way out. You want to drink a lot of water, make sure the bowels are moving, one way or another. Make sure the bowels are moving, drink a lot of water, and get in that salt bath. Because the salt will pull the toxins. A nice hot salt bath is like the benefits of having a fever without having to use the body's energy to do that fever. And that's how the body wants to clear out the fungal loads and viral loads and all, you know, all the neurotoxins and everything else that's in there, that whatever it's trying to get rid of, the heavy metals particularly. So you get in the salt bath, 2 cups of salt, a pound of salt. I don't know what you call it here. A pound of salt? 2 cups of salt? Okay. I know when I lectured in France, the cancer clinics from Spain, I'm recommending 2 cups of salt, and they're recommending 2 kilos. 4.4 cups of salt. And I've used the 2 cups of salt since my center in 1978. So it works, okay? But minimum of 2 cups of salt, a pound of salt. But what would that be? 1 kilo. Little, you know. Okay, everybody got that? In the tub. That is not Epsom salt. Okay, salt. Sea salt? Some sort of natural salt. Yeah, Epsom salt's magnesium sulfates. That's not what we use for that. Because the body will pull the magnesium in and it won't detox you. So salt. So the salt will pull the toxins like a magnet. If there was one tip or trick I would give you, no matter what, is to do those salt baths. Is that easy? World's easiest detox. At first sign of any fever or anything, get in a hot salt bath. The heat will open up the capillaries, open up the pores. The salt will pool. And then breathe, because it takes breath for energy to move. You're going to breathe. Aloha. Let everything dissolve into the water so it can go down the drain. Aloha. The things we've seen in that water you would not believe. A little boy with autism, his mother had done chelation, all the things for pulling heavy metals, all that stuff. Had him in the system, put him in the bathtub, the water turned black. Is that important? I had somebody that was a master bridge worker. He had all the contracts in the US for bridges, a master metal worker. He said the first 6 baths, the water turned the color of steel. He took a magnet, and sure enough, he said in the bottom of the tub, it felt like steel shavings. He took a magnet, and sure enough, it picked it all up. That's heavy metal detox, right? How important is that bath? Yeah, and it's also the skin's the third kidneys. You want to take all the stress off your kidneys. Especially criminal that they're not telling people with diabetes this, with all the kidney damage. Okay, does that everybody understand? The kidney damage? I don't know if it says popular here, but they have, they're doing dialysis. Wouldn't you rather send yourself to bath heaven? Breathe, let everything dissolve, go down the drain, than going to dialysis 3 times a week? It's awful. So to me, it's criminal that doctors aren't telling people that. So please share that information, okay? Simple, right? Salt bath. Okay, give you stuff homework to take home. So anyway, lots of information. I'm talking too much. So, scalar. An easy way of understanding scalar. Scalar is, there's longitudinal versus transverse waves. Scalar is also called longitudinal, torsion fields, things like that. The definition of scalar is nonlinear, non-Hertzian, fifth-dimensional standing columnar waves, beyond relative time and space. Everybody got that? Okay, cool. I'm also a professor, by the way, applied integrated biophysics. But anyway, but you've got your transverse waves. What you see here is your typical 60 cycle field. And I like this depiction of, okay, did we lose? Oh, we're back on. The depiction of a scalar. You can see the infinity wave in that, and it's like a rotation on an axis. But you can see how that would interface with the DNA, right? And like I said, some of the research is total repair of the DNA and lengthening of telomeres. You see the interface with the DNA. It's also called, phase conjugate wave pairs. Okay, I'm blonde. Let me give you the blonde explanation of phase conjugate wave pairs, okay? Everybody good with this? Yeah. I'm blonde. Okay, phase conjugate wave pairs. That's where comes together, where the fields come together and it's a release of charge, like an implosion. Okay, it's very sexy, really. It's phase conjugate wave pairs. It's like a conjugal relationship where they come together and there's a release of charge, like an orgasm of light force or life force energy. And that's really the secret of how our technology works. Bet you didn't know that piece, right? Science could be sexy, really. Phase conjugate wave pairs. Now you're going to remember that, right? Okay. Did I tell you to take notes? I don't know. We do have a lot of things online. I do have a 3.5-hour course online if you want to go down the rabbit hole a little bit more. Do you want to write down where that is? Anybody have pens? No? I should have warned you. Okay, phase conjugate wave pairs. But you can go right down to, like, I have a 3.5-hour course online with newearth.university. Newearth.university. And it has a whole workbook. I do recommend this. You can never know too much.
What's the course called?
Applied Integrative Biophysics. It's also called The Future of Medicine on there. The Future of Medicine, Applied Integrative Biophysics. Okay. By Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, in case you didn't get my name. Okay. So wave, anti-waves, all that kind of stuff. But it also looks like an infinitely projected Mobius pattern on an axis. So that's your infinitely projected Mobius. Did everybody grow up learning about Mobius? That was my favorite day in kindergarten. We made Mobius strips. I was so excited. It's the infinity wave, Mobius. Infinitely projected Mobius. That's your torsion field, your scalar vortex, 0 point. But what I'm showing here is how that relates to the chakras in the body. Yeah, it relates to a lot of things in the body, but relating to the chakras. So that's really a better depiction of your toroidal energy fields. Anyway, there's a good movie that talks about that. But anyway, good stuff. You can watch some of our other videos, but it's a Fibonacci sequence. An infinitely projected Mobius is also Fibonacci sequences, which is, how the body is the cellular replication patterns in the body. Fibonacci. So I showed how that relates to the chakras. So this is with our technology, before and after 1 hour, and you see how the chakras, this is real-time aura imaging, and how it's lining up all the chakras. It's trying to put everything back to its original divine design, point of balance, because we've gotten discombobulated with the body being subjected to toxic environments, etc., 24/7. EMF, ELF, radiation, microwave, all these things. Get rid of your microwave ovens, by the way, if you still have them. Very, very detrimental. Anyway, so everything wants to be in alignment, that point of balance. Is that easy to understand? Yeah, that's 0 point. It's also called 0 point energy. Okay, true bioscalar energy is field-like, not wave-like. It's really, these are generating fields that are extraordinarily bioactive fields. Means the body relates to them. It can implant its signature, can regenerate and repair itself indefinitely. That's how our bodies were designed to be. The infinite and innate intelligence of our designer. We have designer genes. Does everybody know that? We have a divine design, and we have designer genes. They're designed to work perfectly. It's a powerful design. Regenerate and repair indefinitely. Scalar energy works with the DNA itself, and repair of DNA and lengthening of telomeres. Everybody know what telomeres is? The end caps of the DNA, and that has to do with your longevity and your healing ability. So the actual research back in the late 90s, 2000s with Baylor University was that our technology was lengthening the telomeres and repairing all the damage back into unified field effects, unified fields, back to unified field effects, repairing all the damage, lengthening the telomeres. And so we've got a lot more research with that going on right now. We've got a whole study on that, actually, where a woman, she's an MD, she's a professor of medicine, one of our doctors that has our technology. She had tested her telomeres before using our technology, because she was working on longevity medicine projects and research. And before using our technology, her telomeres tested as being 4 years younger than she was physically. 4 years younger. That's cool, right? Or 3 years younger. Anyway, so she used our technology, she used it twice. She did 3 hours, twice, 3-hour session of just taking a nap in our technology. That's how you use our technology, by going to the deep delta and theta brain states where everything can repair, rejuvenate, and heal. She used it twice, and she tested 15 years younger. How's that for cool? Yeah, that's how powerful the body is. Power that made the body heals the body. How do you plug the body back into the cosmic light socket, where it has all the energy to heal itself? But the body wants to heal. And would you rather grow younger or older at this point? Or do you just want everything to work better? You know? So anyway, and she used it more. She now she's 54, and her telomeres test is between 29 and 32 or something like that. I need more time in my own technology. I've been traveling way too much. That's not healthy. But anyway, by the way, for those of you that don't know, I'll tell you, I am in my 70s. Okay, just by the way. But imagine if I spent more time in my own technology. Jeez. Instead, I've been hit with every bioweapon and everything else on the planet. But anyway, we're still here, so we'll keep going. Oh, back to that. I do want to mention about the medallions. Okay. The body wants to be in alignment and stay in integrity. And so one of the simple things we did is putting the technology into medallions and bracelets. Good trick, right? Good trick. And so I'll share how these things, medallions, the bracelets, they look okay, right? Yeah? Everybody can do this? Pure science. I'm a science geek, in case you didn't notice. But would somebody like to experience what it's like? Somebody that doesn't have a medallion or bracelet, obviously. Come on up, a couple of you. Yeah. I'm going to demonstrate something. And bring your cell phones. Bring your cell phones. The body wants to, power that made the body heals the body. We have only women have any braveness here. I thought, wasn't this where Braveheart came from or something? I don't, so, yeah, that's why I want a man. Women love good men. Oh, now I've got too many people.
Will I go sit down?
No, you're tall. I like that. Yeah, good for testing, because we're going to do a little bit of a test. Geez, I got too many to test, but step forward, please. Is he a good specimen? Okay, you're just going to hold your arm up. I think there's somebody here that works with kinesiological testing, but push your arm up and just hold it up. Push up. Don't let me push it down. Just getting a strength level there. Okay, and give me that cell phone. We're going to put that over here. Oh, but you've got a safe sleeve on it. That helps. Okay, so we're going to test you with something else. That safe sleeve is one of the better technologies for protecting yourself from cell phone radiation. Okay, so we're just going to give you a Sharpie. Okay, hold that. Okay, push up. Toxic fumes distorts the field. Not healthy. Okay. There's too many things I'm juggling. Well, try and find one a little bit bigger for him. Okay, hold that. Okay, now push up again. Feel the difference? Doesn't smell any better. Cool, right?
Absolutely.
Now, let me explain that. This is toxic fumes. It distorts the fields. It collapses your energy fields. It's extremely toxic. So then your body's taking all its energy to cope with all these things in a toxic environment. And we pop the bracelet on, and the bracelet or the medallion. So I have a couple on. And it reinforces that scalar vortex, that energy field, so that you stay strong no matter what you're exposed to, because this reminds the DNA, it's communicating with the DNA so that you stay strong no matter what, because we're living in a toxic soup. Okay? Is that cool?
That's excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll grab my phone.
You can have.
Thanks.
A safe sleeve is one of the better things to do with your cell phone, besides using our technology. Okay, now, So does somebody else have a cell phone they want to set aside? Yeah, just set that aside. Okay, and you're just going to do a simple strength level push-up. Okay, feel how that is. And now, where's that cell phone? And you want to hold it up like you're talking on it or something? You can't even, right?
No, I cannot. No,
Can't.
I cannot.
Okay, where did I put it? Which one did I put where? I'm using the bracelets just because they're very handy. The medallions actually work better. But now let's do that again. See how quick? Scalar moves at 1.4 times the speed of light. It's fast. Superluminal velocity. Everybody got that? Beyond the speed of light. You feel the difference?
Yeah.
The body knows what to do with the energy instantly because it communicates it to stay. It reminds the body to stay strong no matter what we're exposed to. You want to stay in alignment, in integrity, in your power. Stand in your power, your light, your love, no matter what. Everybody get this?
Yeah,
Cool.
that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, you have your medallion on and a bracelet. Oh, the men are cutting out. Oh, well. Anybody else want me to test them? Oh, and not you with your medallion and bracelet on. You'll test perfectly. These little buggers, these little puppies, it's high tech in the low tech model, very portable. I had to create this. I have 5 million miles, air miles on this body. I've been teaching over 45 years all over the world. I had to create this technology to do what I do. And it's about maintaining the integrity of your DNA. We're back. Maintaining the integrity, but so we stay strong no matter what we're exposed to. Did you want to? What do you want to test? We can test. We'll go back to the. Oops. Let's just do strength level first. Do we have any kinesiologists in the room? Anybody that does kinesiological testing? Yes. You can do it yourself. Yeah, you see it, feel how that is? Now you're just going to hold this toxic Sharpie. See, it collapses the fields almost instantly. It's toxic, very toxic to your environment. And just pop a bracelet on. I could pull off a medallion, but it's more work. As you feel how quick the body gets it. Is that cool?
Yeah, definitely.
Magic. No, it's not magic. It's pure science. It's pure biophysics. Applied integrated biophysics. Do you want to do it with your phone too? Okay. We do have some of these here, and every center carries these. You can also order them. Okay, you got the cell phone. Yeah, where do you normally carry that thing?
I usually kind of put it in a bum bag because it have earpieces in. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just hold it.
Yeah.
And if you were going to talk on it,
Yeah.
it's even worse. Yeah, a lot of women used to put it in their bras, and then we wondered why there was so much breast cancer. Remember that one? Men? Yes. Prostate cancer? Yeah, just keep putting your phone there, honey. Not a good idea. We want your things to stay strong and healthy, no matter what. Women are laughing. You want your men strong and healthy, right? And everything to work.
That's so much better.
Yeah, so you feel the difference. The body gets it. It's very simple, very easy. These are very handy. We did demonstrate these at dinner. We did demonstrate. Okay, what do you want tested? Nothing with you. Okay. Back to our toxic fumes. Okay, just do first. I like to, so the body gets clear. Okay, strength level, and now you can't. It's like, can't hold it up. Now, men, know what that means, right? Okay. No, the women know better what that means. We need everybody to stay strong, no matter what you're exposed to, no matter what you're doing. Okay. But for you men, how important is your circulation for you to stay strong, okay? Very important. Okay. Any questions on that real quick before we... Okay. I think I'm on a time thing that I probably need to go through. Where did I put the... so it's about maintaining the integrity and strength of your own DNA, because that's your foundation. But everything in the body are those torsion fields, like the chakras and things. So this was Dr. Glenn Ryan, Stanford, Harvard biophysicist, did lab research with the medallions, found a 28% increase in the electrical conductivity of DNA, of human DNA. So that's what this is doing, a 28% increase in the electrical conductivity of DNA. Well, that's your cell signaling, it's all that kind of, so there's coherence in the body. Okay. And, okay, so this is John Orva. He was brought to meet me. He was the head of science. He was top physicist for the Pentagon. Did I lose that on the Pentagon? Oops. I said top secret, didn't I? Spook. It was an absolute spook. It spooked my mic. Okay, top secret scientist at the Pentagon. Hyper genius. He was brought to meet me with this $100,000 specialized oscilloscope in our technology. Came to meet me, and you can watch a little video of this, a clip on YouTube, believe it or not, because he's explaining what he's seeing and what it means with the specialized oscilloscope. And you see how it's flatlined there. What you would typically see is a 60-cycle field in a room with all, electrical outlets and computers and all these things. And he's explaining it, and in some way says it's a total transmutation of detrimental and destructive fields into beneficial, and sweeping an entire spectrum to create it to be beneficial fields. So it's not frequency specific. Okay, does that make sense? It's spanning a full spectrum of energies in coherence and creating a hyper-healthy, energetic environment, production of new forms of beneficial energy, And it's also collision of photons. We're colliding photons, kind of like CERN or Fermilabs, but in a good way. Somebody had to do the counterpoint of using science to heal. Okay, so we're colliding photons. So it's a collision of photons, but not just that. We're colliding in such a way that it's actually photonic fusion. You know, we talked about fission, unzipping. Fusion is that coming together. So photonic fusion, but that's also why NASA showed up at my door, because it was a signature of a nuclear sub on land in Colorado when I turned it on. Oops. Yeah. And put the entire military worldwide on high alert, high DEFCON alert. Yeah, they showed up at my door, over 300 men in hazmat suits. They thought the Russians had detonated something, or, yeah, never mind. I now work with the scientists that sent NASA to my door. We're working on the bigger projects. I mean, the technologies for healing the planet, healing the world. So we're working on the bigger projects of advanced water remediation, the cleanup of Fukushima. I'm working with, he's the admiral out of Reno. We're working with him. He's top nuclear physicist. We're working on the cleanup of Fukushima, the oceans, all the power plants, things like that. So that's my bigger work. And advanced water remediation, very, very important that we clean up all the water supplies. So is this good? Yeah. Good to know? Yeah, we actually have everything to heal and fix and cure everything on the planet right now. God is good. Anyway, it looks like magic, but it's truly physics at a very high level of application. So that I'd recommend watching that. When I talked about that orgasm, now you know what it looks like, okay? Did anybody relate to that? Anyway, what you're looking at here is, your cell phone gets recharged. Now let's recharge every cell of your body. How do you recharge your whole body as quickly and easily as you recharge your cell phone? But what you're seeing here is before and after a product put in our technology with, this is Kirlian photography, real-time aura imaging, but Kirlian photography. This was done in $1 million Kirlian lab, NASA physicist, $1 million lab. And this is product before being charged and after being charged. Now, which do you think is going to give you more energy? But we want this for every cell of your body. Because when your body has that charge, then it wants to discharge everything that doesn't belong. You want to have all the energy to live your greatest life. Okay. And we tested thousands of products, actually, thousands of different things. And 100% of the time, everybody goes, well, how long does the charge last? How long does infinity last? Scalar, self-healing, self-perpetuating, self-regenerating fields. And that's how I can talk about regeneration. Your genes, we have designer genes. We want them to all be back to its original divine design of these bodies. And the body to have all the energy to heal and function more and more perfectly all the time. So that's what that looks like. But we've tested thousands of things before and after. We've tested 20 and 30 years later now. Cool, huh? How long does it last? Everybody get this? Okay. Because I always get asked that. Well, how long does the charge last in the medallions and the bracelets? It holds the charge indefinitely. These are self-perpetuating. Infinity lasts a long time. It's better than a Tootsie Roll. Okay. So this is, again, before and after of product. Healthy cells, we're meant to be at a healthy voltage of 70 to 90. Disease doesn't occur until, it's taking all your energy just to cope with a hostile environment, taking all the energy. So disease occurs, cancer cannot exist in the body till the millivoltage of the cells is below 20. Considering our cancer rates and how high they are, is there anybody here that doesn't need more energy? Yeah, well, this is just simple. And so the cells decrease. Panos Pappas was the PhD researcher out of Greece that I worked with, and he proved that what occurs in the cells is actually cold fusion, and did all this research, and I did a lot of research with him. So, okay. So this is before and after being in an 8-unit EE system. You're going to have 24 here, right? 24, it's much better it's the geometry of the DNA. But this is research who's just in an 8-unit system with a professor of medicine at a medical group out of Beverly Hills. The before, this is called accugraph analysis, and it's a testing done of the meridians in the body. And so what you see over here, but I talked about the millivoltage. If you look at the number in the middle, this person was at 21 overall millivoltage for the body before. And red is too much energy. That's in the colon, the lungs, red body's taking all its energy to deal with whatever dis-ease or dysfunction there is. And the violet is too little energy. So this is the before, and this is 1 hour later. You see it's up, I told 70 to 90 is your ideal millivoltage, and everything has gone into balance. This is after just 1 hour. Is that cool? Now acupuncturists use this, and you would only see a result like that if you've had your ideal optimal acupuncture treatment on every meridian simultaneously. This, they're just going in and closing your eyes and meditating. Ideal optimal meditational states. But it gives the body the energy to heal itself. And so we've seen anything and everything heal. Dr. Fritz Albert Popp, I don't know how this translated. Prime function of the DNA is storage of photons. Next time when you guys take my PowerPoint, let's make sure it's a little bigger so people can read it. They took my PowerPoint and put it on new slides. So next time make sure we can read it, for the ones in the back especially. But prime function of DNA, storage of photons. The DNA is biophotonic. Okay, photons are your quantums of light. And disease is caused by a loss of photons. Cancer is essentially carcinogens scramble the light. In other words, there's a total disturbance in your force. Back to everybody remember that? Disturbance in the force. Okay, so healing is accomplished by photo repair and activation of that light within you. The activation of the light within the core of your DNA. So as I said, this is photonic fusion. It's photons, your quantums of light coming together within you, creating an implosion, that orgasm of light force energy that the cells relate to. Now, I'd be flying, I've been all over the world. I have 5 million air miles, right? That's 5 million miles on this thing. Just trying to heal the world all over it. And people would ask me, so what do you do? I'm into whole body, multiple cellular orgasmic experience. How about you? I'm very blonde. Okay. So that activation of light within your DNA, it's this radiance. of light. It's like an orgasm of life energies, of life force energies being activated within you. You know, so that doctor that did the study with the accugraph, he goes, how come everybody comes out smiling? Okay, oneness with that orgasmic energy. Hydrogen atoms repair the covalent hydrogen bonds of the DNA. So with that implosion or fusion, there's a release of the active oxygen. So you've got like your ultimate oxygen therapy, and the active hydrogen, which is your ultimate antioxidant. But also that active hydrogen, when it's released, repairs all the covalent hydrogen bonds in your DNA. It's also what is your pH, your hydrogen potential. So it's putting all the tissue in the body, trying to put it all back to its ideal pH. Anybody ever see alkalinize or die? You know, everybody's heard of pH in healing? It's vital. Cancer cannot exist in an alkaline system, an alkaline environment. There has to be total tissue acidification for cancer to exist. How important is this? Is that giving the body the energy to heal itself? Okay. There's so much we could talk about. But this is just holding, you know, you saw how fast their body got the energy with just popping a bracelet on. These are very handy, right? Especially for doing wine. We have to make sure we talk about the wine. Very, very handy. They work very, very fast. 1.4 times the speed of light is very fast. The body relates to it. Well, this is just holding a charged product, and this is curling off a fingerprint. And you see that light force energy, right? Light force energy, increasing that auric. But it's your life force. And this before and after. This was in that Curlian lab. It sat around the lab. And 2 weeks later, they took the final one of this one. The before, the after, and then 2 weeks later. So it gives an idea of the charge. It's as great a charge or greater 100% of the time. Okay. Repair, regenerate indefinitely, imprints within the DNA, repairs DNA, lengthens telomeres, activating the body's own stem cells. So it's like you go in a system, you take a nap, nothing touches you. It's these wild lights that look like 12 strands of DNA, very intentionally. And you take that nap, your power nap, and the body knows what to do with it. It's going to repair your DNA and lengthen the telomeres. One of our doctors did testing, that I mentioned, that repair of the DNA, just being around the system. Now, everybody get what you do in the system? You take a power nap. Like you're recharging your cell phone, but it's like a whole body cell charger. Okay, so it's activating the body's own stem cells. It's like you're getting a stem cell treatment. No $30,000, no extracting the stem cells, culturing them, re-injecting them. But that's how the body heals. Now, the miracles that we see, if the blind seeing, the lame walking, the deaf hearing, you'd only see if the body's activating, mobilizing the body's stem cells. Of course, we can't make any claims that we heal. It's illegal to heal, fix, or cure anything. But the power that made the body does heal the body. So it's activating, mobilizing the body's stem cells. So it's like a whole body stem cell treatment, very efficient, not one person at a time, no $30,000. Okay, increased mitochondrial activity. And this was research done in London, actually, when I was at the Royal Society of Medicine. Alistair's here from London. I lectured at the Royal Society of Medicine. We did testing with 9 people before and after 1 hour and found quadrupled mitochondrial activity in 1 hour. Why is that important? Mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. Okay, so diabetes, heart disease, all these things are considered mitochondrial dysfunction. Cancer is considered mitochondrial failure. You want it to be turned on. You want everything turned on, right? Everything working. So it's giving the body the energy. Quadrupled mitochondrial activity in 1 hour. How cool is that? By taking a nap. You know, and you're going to have it right here in Dublin soon, very soon. So please thank Kieran for bringing you here today and bringing us here. Oh, and of course, he's pointing at his wife. It's always the woman behind the man, right? So, thank you. And coming. So, and reduce surface tension of water. Now, why is that important? 28% reduction of surface tension of water. The body's mostly water. That's your fluidity of your blood. It's your, the joy is in how everything flows in the body, that fluidity. Most of aging and dis-ease is acute chronic dehydration. So it's so important that you get the hydration into the cells. So, okay, so but it's also why the wine. 28% reduction of surface tension of water makes water wetter, right? What makes the wine very, very smooth. And it's oxygenating it. We blow away sommeliers. We did it at dinner with the wine, and he'll have to tell you, these are very, very handy. You can use some medallions, but these you pop off and you pop on the bottle. Good for beer too. Good for your other alcohols too. But do your own testing. Geez, you can all be doing your science experiments, right? Is this very practical application? When I say applied integrated biophysics, practical application, make your water wetter, but make your beer, your wine, and your alcohol better. Make it healing instead of not, right? Because it could be healing substance. Because it's no longer dehydrating, it's going to hydrate, for one thing. It makes it very smooth. And it's going to bring healing through your body instead of taking your energy. Because when things take your energy, it sucks. But the sommeliers we blow away with what it does for wine. Okay, so, but very, very important for healing. So this is more Glenn Ryan, the Stanford Harvard biophysicist, and water treated in the EE system, is besides a 28% reduction in surface tension, that's also your electrical conductivity. And you saw how fast, this moves at 1.4 times the speed of light. You saw how fast the body relates to this. Well, the body relates to that charge, the electrical charge of the fluids in your body for circulation and to heal everything. Everything is circulation. So quantifiable results with bioelectrography. Well, we'll go back to that. Before and after of the human energy field. And that's with Dr. Karakov out of Russia. Initial research was presented in Russia with this in 2004. And they'd never seen anything that improved the human energy field as rapidly as our technology. Creating more coherence, more radiance. We want to be radiantly healthy, right? But this is an interesting one. This person was being trained in the bioelectrography. He was an MD and a PhD physicist as well, being trained. And Dr. DeVita in Toronto said, just go in this room. He had our technology. And he goes, looks around, looks like a bunch of broken computers. I don't feel anything. This is a bunch of BS. Okay? So he walks out of the room, and he's going down the hallway. He stops in the middle of the hall and goes, it's gone. And Dr. DeVita goes, what's gone, Dr. Charles? Did you lose your wallet? He goes, no, my tinnitus, my ringing in my ears is gone. The body took the energy, was discharging what didn't belong, that old damage, old trauma. He had been mugged as a teenager mugged as a teenager, and they stole his wallet. The information in the field was, did you lose your wallet? Right? Dr. David asked him, did you lose your wallet? He had been hit upside the head with brass knuckles as a teenager, and they'd stolen his wallet. The information in the field, she goes, did you lose your wallet? Is that cool? So they went back and re-imaged him, and this showed the release of that head trauma. Every time you go in the system, the body's going to grab the energy, anything that's not in alignment, that the body's ready to let go of, that it has the charge now, it wants to discharge anything and everything that doesn't belong. Is that cool? No more ringing in the ears. Cool. The body wants to heal. The body wants to heal and function perfectly. We just want to give it the energy and the information, so it does. Now this is before and after. This was done in Korea. You have before, now this is EEG of the brain, EEG, and after 10 minutes you see more coherence, more coherent brain function, more active brain function in just 10 minutes. The body knows what to do with the energy. And it gets better and better. But this is just in the first 10 minutes. That's pretty cool, right? Not bad for a quickie. I told you I'm blonde. Too blonde. Okay, so this is before and afters. Now this was research done in Sedona, at labs in Sedona. And this is just thermography. The red, orange is inflammation, the white. You see the white there, that's a very hot spot. He's sinusitis. He was a smoker. You look at all the inflammation in his throat. You know, he was having acute chronic migraines. You see the red is inflammation. Okay, this was after 2 sessions. No more migraines. Migraines were gone. You see the amount of healing. The green is healing energy. Is there anybody here that doesn't want better brain function? Or don't have something that you want to work better somewhere? There's always room for things to be more better somewhere, right? So it's doing this with the whole body, releasing that inflammation. But yeah, we have lots of research. Now that was in an 8-unit system. This is a 4-unit system. 8's about 10 times better than a 4. A 4 is the minimum, the very minimum. And of course you're getting 24 here, which is optimal, much more optimal. And but this is just in a 4-unit system, 4 unit of these field engine generators aligned, and you see the before. But what's interesting about this is this gentleman had total paralysis of his dominant hand. He couldn't work. Total paralysis of one leg. They found him trying to kill himself, and he couldn't get he didn't have enough strength to pull the trigger. They got him into a system, and they went in to get him after 2 hours, and the hand that had been totally paralyzed for a year, he's going like this and crying. The second time, he could stand on the leg that was paralyzed. Third time, he could jump on it. Yeah. The body wants to heal. Power that made the body heals the body. How do you plug the body back into the cosmic light socket and give it the energy to heal itself? Okay. And this is back to the labs in Sedona. And this is before this woman went to the doctor, and she was diagnosed with bronchitis. You see the inflammation of the lungs. And after I think this was 2 hours, or maybe it was just an hour in this one. Anyway, she went back to the doctor, but this is the before and after thermography, showing the digital thermal imaging. This is before and after a session. It was 1 or 2 hours, I don't remember on this one. But she went back to her doctor. But you see the body's grabbed the energy, And it's trying to move out the congestion, whatever created the bronchitis. It's going to try to move it out through the throat. So you're going to try to cough that up. Going to move it through the lymphatic system, and going to try and move it out through the bowels. You see where the body has got the energy, it has the charge. Now it wants to discharge everything that does not belong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was before and after 1 hour. But anyway, went back to the doctor and found no trace of bronchitis. You think this might have been useful with COVID? Besides oxygenation. We talked about that oxygenation, and yeah. Because of the desatting, people were dropping their oxygen levels. Well, this creates oxygenation. It creates the blood to be very free-flowing. We'll probably see some of that. Oh, this gentleman, he had been diagnosed with mesothelioma. He was a race car driver, and so, from the race cars, they had a lot of exposure from the brake linings, the lead in the brake linings, and so he was diagnosed with mesothelioma. They sent him home to die, said there's nothing more you can do. Put your affairs in order. He was on oxygen. Everybody know what mesothelioma is? Cancer. It's cancer of the mesothelium in the lungs. Okay. Mesothelioma. Cancer of the mesothelium. They have no cure. It's actually fairly common, but it's a death sentence. So I said, there's nothing more you can do. He was at Mayo Clinic, 2 weeks doing testing. Just put your affairs in order. Anyway, went to Hawaii, where we have with the University of Hawaii Medical School, Dr. Terry Shintani, the professor of medicine. He had 8-unit systems set up at the university. He started using the system. He came in on oxygen, completely gray, could not lay down because the lungs would fill with fluid. Anyway, so he started coming. He goes, this looks really hokey, but when they give you a death sentence and nothing's worked, what the heck? Anyway, so he ends up back to work, doing great. He didn't need the oxygen after less than a month. Because this is oxygenating all the tissues of the body. So it's fully oxygenated. He didn't need the oxygen. When we see this all the time. You've seen this, right? Alistair has a center in London. He's going to share some of his experience. But anyway, so this is him at 85, almost 15 years later. He was given less than a month to live. Is that cool? Yeah, this was from the asbestos in the brake linings and tires and stuff from being a race car driver. He'd already lost his younger brother and 4 of his best friends. They'd already passed from mesothelioma at this point. Yeah. So, anyway. Power that made the body heals the body. We've seen anything and everything heal. 100% improvement in the blood, 100% of the cases before and after using the system. They were studying motor neuron disease, ALS. Okay, this is blood before and after 1 hour. And you see fully oxygenated, free-flowing blood. And this is what you would see with candida or cancer. You see stagnant aggregate blood all stuck together. So in 1 hour, the body has the right charge, and it's fully oxygenating. There's that hydrobifurcation, which is the release of the active oxygen and the active hydrogen in the body. So you've got like your ultimate oxygen therapy at the same time as the active hydrogen, which is your pH, etc. So this is a 3-year-old boy with sickle cell anemia. You see the sickle cell in the top, in that blood? Now that's excruciatingly painful because it stops the blood supply, the blood flow to the organs, and they have no cure for it. It's sickle cell. You clearly see it there. After 45 minutes, you see free-flowing oxygen, never another attack or episode. Clinical results, initial clinicals were with Dr. Victor Marcial Vega, John Hopkins trained oncologist, did the initial clinicals. I was afraid to let doctors know what this was really doing. He got me in all kinds of trouble. And I only gave him 4 units. We put in 4 units. Anyway, people, and this is written, if you want to read this initial clinical from 2001 to 2002, 132 patient study, John Hopkins trained oncologist. He was recognized as being in the top 1% of credentials of doctors in the US. His father was recognized as the top oncologist in the world. So he begged me to let him do the testing, begged me. He actually had his own problems going on because he had been diagnosed with AIDS. And all the last of the AIDS symptoms totally disappeared in the first week of having the system. So that's for him. But anyway, this is in the clinicals. Sense of well-being, energy, better sleep, pain control. Others have been healed of blindness. We hear that all the time. Diabetes, trauma, cataracts, and stress. This is a powerful energy enhancer that promotes very deep states of ultimate relaxation, if we allow it, for which any and all healing can occur. So he presented the research for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine and also for the Radiation Oncology Committee meeting because it reversed the side effects of radiation and chemo and things like that so effectively as far as an adjunct therapy. And this is what it looks like set up as a simple system in a room. It's all opposite each other. Phase conjugate wave pairs that come together. It's a conjugal relationship. When it comes together is a release of charge. That's that orgasm I was talking about. And it's like an orgasm of light force energy at that intersection of the fields. Patients had stress reduction, easier meditation, better sleep, increased learning. Some reported complete healing of chronic conditions after only a half hour. 85 to 90% experienced a deep sense of love. Expanded awareness, tingling, increased libido. You know, we do, 95% of our systems were in private homes around the bed. Okay? Works really good for that. Clarity and energy improvement. They came out feeling very happy. Now realize this was an oncology, it was a cancer clinic. Nobody came out of that clinic happy before. So that was a big deal because it is that. Clinical case studies with Dr. Gerber from Houston Memorial Hospital System. He saw all kinds of cases, oncology, spinal cord injury, severed spinal cord to full function. Would have been paraplegic for life. Is that cool? But we understand it's activating, mobilizing the body's stem cells, like a stem cell treatment. We've seen anything and everything heal because the body wants to heal and function perfectly. So this is just giving it the energy the body relates to if we had an ideal, optimal world. Cardiology, all kinds of things. End-stage renal reversals. Started producing urine for the first time in over 4 years. Crazy stuff. Peripheral artery disease, vision improvement, strokes. I mean, yeah, peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy we hear all the time. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Dementia, pain, wound healing, lymphedema, learning disabilities, any kind of learning challenges. But there's been a lot with autism too. So the autism seizure disorder study was done at University of Hawaii Medical School. This is a peer-reviewed, published study. Journal of Neurology Research. It was a little girl with autism. It was a clear case of vaccine damage. They couldn't call it that because they couldn't use the word autism at all, or vaccine, or it wouldn't have been published. So it was published as mitigation of seizure disorder. But it was a clear case. She was having 8 to 10 grand mal seizures a day. After a third 1-hour session, she had first day ever with no seizures. And then so they completed the study, and then I think it was 8th or 9th, after 9th session, something like that, she had one long seizure. Dr. Shintani called me up, oh my God, she just had the longest seizure ever. I said, awesome, that's great. Because that means the body has taken the energy and it's finally pushing out the rest of whatever created it in the first place. And after that, it dropped to nothing. What's that worth? You know, I talked to the mother. My daughter smiled at me for the first time in years. You know, so we see a lot with kids. The kids need all the help they can get. And so anyway, that's a peer-reviewed published study, okay? This gentleman was sent to hospice with cancer. They sent him home to die. You see what he looked like before. And the wife says, what the heck? They've not given you any hope with anything else. And she dragged him to Dr. Shintani's center in Hawaii. And this is him 6 months later after they'd given him less than a month to live. But look at the hair. We can't talk about reversing cancer, really, but look at his hair. You know, it has to do with telomeres. You know, when you lengthen telomeres, the hair grows better. Everybody know how that works? You know, I'm in my 70s. There we go. Yeah, it relates to the telomeres, really. Lengthening of telomeres. Yeah, the hair is kind of like the DNA. And the DNA, that splitting of the DNA, and you know the shortening of DNA, that split ends. And the lengthening of the telomeres, everything stays in integrity, and you want to stay strong, no matter what. But yeah, did you know your hair relates to your telomeres? Yeah. Anyway, so you see, he looks much happier there, doesn't he? And he's still years later, he's still doing well in Hawaii. So although the most consistently profound result I've seen has been extraordinarily rapid post-surgical healing, I've also had many people no longer need antidepressants after their first session in the EE system. Results have been, quite frankly, miraculous. Now that's Dr. James DeBoer shared that. But this is a picture of a cube. The smallest version is the cube, the EE cube, and this is a double cube. So a lot of people have those in their homes. Okay, all kinds of miraculous results. Fully functioning kidneys after kidney failure. We recently had people after the jab, you know, that had kidney failure after the jab. Total regain of kidney function after being in the system. What's that worth? What's your health? You know, your health is your greatest wealth. If you don't have your health, what good's your money? What good's anything? You can't take that with you. You know, we want you to stay strong no matter what. Stay strong. We need you to stand in your power, in your light, in your love always, knowing all that you stand for. And let's stand up and be the change this world has been waiting for. Mark Peebler had a double stroke when he came. After the double stroke, he could not walk. It took him 40 minutes just to get into my system after getting out of the hospital because he couldn't stand up. And with the walker even, it took a person on both sides and the walker to try to get him into my system. And this is in Vegas. But he got in the system, and that's the shape he was in after the double stroke. After 2 hours, he got up and walked completely unassisted, 40 feet each way to the bathroom, not intentionally not touching anything. So he's telling the world about that. And this is another, we just called him the general. 77 years old. He'd been like global Superman, all kinds of special projects, etc. All kinds of stories I could tell about this guy. But anyway, 77 years old, had 3 strokes, sent to die, sent to hospice. 3 strokes. He had total paralysis, head to toe. I said, just get him to me. No bowel control, no bladder control, total paralysis. Well, they brought him to me. They brought him 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. This is him 10 days later. We love miracles. How many of those have you seen? He can go on and on too. I mean, I can't even begin to touch the surface. I just, we have some of the pictures, but yeah. And he went on to be able to travel independently and he went over to Asia, where he had founded and funded a, what do you call it, for children? An orphanage, an orphanage. Essentially, it was an orphanage for children that he had funded, and then so he wanted to go back over to Asia, and was able to travel by himself, and be there for a month, and all the kids that called him Papa, anyway, did phenomenally, got better and better and better. And this little girl was. What they call a crack baby. Yeah, and so was having total seizures and was in really, really bad shape. So I said, just get her here as fast as you can. Just get her here, because mother was on crack. She was born, with that addiction. Brought her in. She was in really bad shape, but she was a mess. Put her in the middle of the system. Her whole body went, and she went right to sleep. And she's just brilliant. I mean, she is absolutely brilliant now. Phenomenal. Some of these kids, and the stories I could go on about the kids. Yeah, it's the best thing ever for pregnant women. We want pregnancy. I'm a birth coach as well. I've been a birth coach, and so we want pregnancy and to be easy, and have the healthiest children possible on this planet. So, yes, this is another one of my EE babies. So, in Hawaii. But, what else we got on here? Oh, not just for humans. Okay, the one at the top on the middle, that's a cat up there. The cat, there's a federal judge that had this cat since he was a kitten. She had the cat, but she brought the cat in just skin and bones, couldn't walk, wasn't eating, wasn't drinking, was on IVs, but she didn't want to put the cat down. But the cat was, just skin and bones, nothing left. So she put the cat in the middle of the system. The cat got up in the middle and jumped. After about 2 hours. Got up, jumped off the bed and had some water. Cat wasn't drinking. The cat wasn't moving. This cat went on to do great. Total reversal. Animals are much easier than humans. much easier than humans. And we have all kinds of crazy miracle stories with the animals, and they just love it. We could go on and on, but hopefully I've given you enough information where we've seen anything and everything completely heal. You can never be too healthy, have too much good energy, feel too good, look too good. Right? Everybody's good? Okay. Thank you for letting me share with you. And just remember, no matter what happens, keep breathing. Aloha.
Everybody stand up. That was just phenomenal. Big hand. Thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you. Brilliant. I'm not going to waste any time. Over to Alistair.
Thank you. I think we probably, it's a bit of a difficult task to follow on from Sandra. I guess, am I playing this? Who starts the video?
Hi there, my name is Kirsty. I heard about scaling wave energy from Google and obviously researching alternative treatments. I was diagnosed about 3 years ago now with an acoustic neuroma brain tumour on my right side, and a year later I got sudden deafness, which was sensorial, sudden hearing loss in my left ear, out of the blue, completely not connected. It's just being hit by lightning twice. I've been told to have radiation with Dyanmic therapy. I've declined that twice because of the after effects and loss of hearing to that ear, and basically worrying that I wouldn't qualify for a cochlear implant on either ear. So I've looked outside the box, gone with my heart, and believe scalar wave energies from the testimonies I've read and everything I've seen is the way forward. I've done 8 hours to date, and within my first 4 hours, I noticed my right eye, which was suffering with dry eye syndrome due to my tumour compression, has subsided within the same night. I had no red eye anymore, no need for eye drops, that's ceased. I'm now 4 days later, just on my 8th hour, and I'm waiting to hear the results of my hearing, but from what I can see, I'm sleeping better. My tinnitus is left. I have different grades of tinnitus in each ear. One's like a blood sound and one's a high-pitched ringing. And I now can sleep. Normally I suffer with insomnia because I can't sleep. And now I'm going home, I have a detox bath, and I'm able to sleep almost within 10 minutes. So I've noticed changes already. I have still got deafness, but I'm hearing distorted sounds. If my daughter cries or a car door slammed, I'm picking up stuff because I was profoundly deaf in my left ear. This ear still has hearing, but the tinnitus sometimes makes that difficult. And I can't tell if my tumour shrunk yet, but it must have some movement because my eye, which my brain surgeon told me was caused by nerve compression, has subsided.
Hi, my name is Aziza. I have lupus and I have fibromyalgia. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, which basically means your body attacks itself. It causes a massive amount of different symptoms. I have had practically all of them. The most concerning is it attacks the organs and it has attacked my kidneys. So I am on kidney treatment, which can be very intense and give its own symptoms as well. But the thing that I really struggle with amongst all the symptoms is the pain, the fatigue. I never knew you could describe pain in so many different ways. I thought pain was pain before I got lupus. I was told about the space before. At the Park Clinic, a lot of customers come to where I work and they told me how much it's helped them. I was a bit negative at first, to be honest, because I've tried so many things and nothing's ever helped. When I came in and met the amazing team, spoke to Alistair, who's so compassionate and kind, and they explained to me that it could help. I honestly didn't want to give myself hope because I have done that too much and so much has failed, so I just went in and tried it and tried to have an open mind, but I couldn't see how it would help, to be fair. I started with getting a lot of pain while I was in there, which kind of made me not want to stay in. But luckily I kept through. And then I fell asleep, and bear in mind that day I came in, I was so sick. I was so bad. And I had like different days of pain. It was like pain in my hand, almost like the arthritis in my joints, which was shooting like fire. A pain in my arms, which was like this muscle pain, causing it really hard, like heavy and hard to move. And then I got the swelling in my toes, and I had my stick because of the mobility. And so, you know, it left me very negative. Wake up after, I think, 5 hours of being there, and all the pain had gone. And I honestly, like, I remember getting up and just, number one, the feeling felt like God finally answered prayer. And number two, it just felt like shock. I'm just sitting, I actually remember just moving my hands and body, trying to see if the pain's still there, and just sitting there shaking my head for so long, thinking, how has this worked? I haven't taken any painkillers. Even if I was to take painkillers, I wouldn't have taken pain away the way that I did. And I just came out of it completely in shock, and it has been a completely life-changing experience, to be honest. And I've been telling everyone about it since. I still am completely mind-blown how much it has helped me. I've been going on I did another session since then, and the same thing. That day I went in, I had no pain, but as I was in there, I felt the pain, and I've been told that actually that is a good thing, it means it's working. So then I did a detox bath, and to be honest, as well as the fact that it helps, when you're sick and you have responsibility, you don't ever have time for yourself. This is my time now, and it is the most beautiful healing space for me, and I'm so, so grateful. I'm so grateful, and I'm literally filled with goosebumps right now as I speak, and I urge anyone with any sickness, please come to this space, because not only do you have the most kindest, caring people that give you so much kindness and hope, you have a space that actually works. Like, it really works, and I can vouch for it 100%. You know, God has finally listened, and I hope that anyone that's sick, you can feel this relief too. So thank you, Betsy Parker.
Hi, now today it's I had my 200th hours. After the sessions, again, I always feel absolutely fantastic. My speech is better. I have lots of energy. And the wonderful thing is actually holding more and more. I myself, I'm being very grateful to be here. If I think I started my journey end of August and now it's December, for me this is a place where it's real healing is happening.
Hello, my name is Alexander, husband of Ute, who you just seen. As for her, of course, for the partner, it's as big a journey. When we got the news of the diagnosis, I was, as everybody would imagine, totally devastated. And our life was turned upside down because all you get offered is prepare for the end, because there is no treatment that promises any future, certainly no healing. So I feel very privileged and extremely lucky to have come across this weekly center, which we found through a friend. And the transformation over the last few months is absolutely phenomenal, mainly for Ute, and she speaks about that herself. As the accompanying partner, I was, totally depressed, would be a very neat way of describing it. And it's quite amazing how spending a night here just gives you an energy, as everybody will tell you. But it does more than that. For me, it gave me hope. because I can see real progress and that things do become better. It lifted my mood, my soul and spirit, and I can really now, whatever the future holds, face the future with a bit more calm and equilibrium would be over the top. But yeah, I'm better prepared, and I can see that we, God willing, have many years still together.
Okay, this is me after 1 month of having the EE system. It's been a journey, it's been a super journey, very interesting. It was a bit hard at the beginning because I had a lot of symptoms, a lot of things going on. It's something kind of weird, I will call it, not something I haven't heard that exists. And during the first weeks, I have all kind of symptoms, I would say, that then I realize is the body's disintoxication, sorry, I lost the word. And I have headaches, diarrhea, fever, coughing, but at the same time I was happy to have that because I knew something was happening. I think if nothing happened, then it's a little bit worried. I did enjoy the journey. I don't want to say I love the system because I don't want more of that. I don't want to come back. But I love to be there and to have the screams and to feel life sensations in my body. I still don't have the test. I'm going to do it. I did 400 hours already. I feel very good. I feel positive. My body changed, my energy changed as well. I'm more in my skin. I'm coming back more to me. I feel closer to myself. And I'm very hoping and positive that I'm going to get a very good results out of the whole experience.
Hi, I'm Kirsty, and I came to the EE Centre because, well, in a nutshell, because I wanted to have more energy and feel better. And I passionately believe that the body is able to heal itself. And I've healed a lot of things in the past, but where I was a few months ago, I was utterly exhausted, and I had cancer for the second time last year. I've had years of feeling very run down, some very, very tough years, and I had worked really hard post-cancer to heal and to feel better, and I thought I was in an amazing place. And then I had another big life event, and I crashed. And because of my beliefs in holistic healing and in the body's ability to heal itself, I came across this, and it just made a lot of sense. And what I've found from coming here, I mean, number one, I definitely have more energy. I was also aware, again, when I talk about like a holistic view of health, I believe that our emotional world plays an enormous part in our physical health. And I had an awful lot of unprocessed trauma and emotions, and I didn't realise how dysregulated my nervous system was. And I've done some great things in the past. But one of the other benefits I found from coming here was an improvement in my mood and my emotional well-being. And one of the things that has definitely helped that, as well as the system itself, has been doing some sessions with Violet, who I'm sure if you look on the website you'll find, but she does kind of intuitive myofascial release, and you know, I knew I had a lot of kind of stored emotion in there. So combining that and other holistic therapies, I think has played a really important role in the improvements as well.
Right. So to me, the videos probably tell a much more modern story than Sandra's picture, but they're very much the same, except we have a 24 unit system as opposed to Sandra having to work with a 4 or 8 unit system. What Sandra has been doing is looking at the past and how she got here, and I today want to look at how I see the future going forward. I will definitely say that we have 7 salt baths, and that's how much I believe in the system. I have actually built in 7 salt baths into my centre. And I also have pet sessions every Saturday. If hospitals became A and E only, where would I see the future of other treatments? I imagine that we would have well-being centres dotted around the country that market themselves as looking after your treatment as well as preparing you to look after yourself in order not to become ill. By combining several healing modalities, we could actually encourage people to restore their health more quickly and use the body's own self-healing mechanisms. And the examples of these would be things like, obviously, the frequency healing through the energy enhancement system, infrared light therapy to include saunas and infrared lamps, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, ozone and hydrogen treatments, nutrition, which obviously is a very important part of our lives, homeopathy, chiropractic adjustments, functional diagnostic tests in a pre-clinical way, i.e. preventative medicine, acupuncture and physiotherapy, and as you've just heard there, lymphatic drainage and myofascial release. In addition to these treatments, we need to build upon a model of preventative health and raise awareness of poor lifestyle choices that can actually be easily changed through education. Having good health is more than the absence of disease. It is supporting optimum health, enabling people to thrive and not just survive. So, what am I doing to meet the challenge of a failing health system? How do we, as EE system owners, take on the mighty power of pharmaceutical companies who peddle drugs like sweets and have no interest in the patient's mental or physical well-being? I've decided to lock my business into areas that doctors and surgeons understand and recognise, to grab clients who recognise existing treatments and then expose them to novel treatments like the EE system. By this I mean purchasing a hyperbaric oxygen chamber to encourage injured athletes, those undergoing surgery, and requested by the surgeon to take on oxygen treatments prior to and post-operation, and those who already know and recognise the benefits of this treatment to try frequency healing afterwards as part of their treatment. In my Battersea site, I have added an infrared sauna. In fact, I actually have the largest infrared sauna, not only in London, but I think in the entire country. I can fit 6 people in it. And it was hand-built for us. So with my infrared sauna and hyperbaric oxygen chamber, I'm hoping to add near-infrared treatment into the chamber as well. And at 2 atmospheres and breathing oxygen, that's breathing pure oxygen, I think our clients are going to have a very interesting time. Do I believe that this is as good as the EE system? No. Not really, but I definitely believe that it's a sprat to catch a mackerel. And one of the things that we've talked about is how difficult to get the information out on the EASE system. And I think by stealing a march on the doctors and saying we have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, send your patients here, and then popping them into an EASE system, that's going to be an interesting way to introduce people to the system. Now, the pandemic has actually laid waste to human health around the world. Statistics in the UK of 9.2 million people who have left the workplace and are either physically or mentally ill or no longer wish to work. Those figures are absolutely shocking. Where are all of those people going to be treated? The population is so addicted to a free health service that they have forgotten how to look after themselves. And they expect a bankrupt state to do it all for them. But the money isn't there to support them, and they will need to look after their own future by alternative means. Trust in the state and its politicians is at an all-time low, and trust in the knowledge and experience of doctors has tumbled. The older, dedicated, and highly experienced doctors have taken early retirement, leaving the NHS in the hands of junior doctors who have been on strike for a year. And that's over poor pay. Did you know that 1/5 of all nurses are currently immigrants, and levels of pay are absurdly low? There are nearly 10,000 deaths a year from pancreatic cancer, where the 5-year survival rate is 5%, and it remains the least survivable form of the disease. Throwing more chemotherapy at it is not going to change the odds, so why continue? Anna Jewell, chair of the Less Survivable Cancer Task Force, said, "People diagnosed with a less survivable cancer are already fighting against the odds for survival. If we are going to see positive and meaningful change, then all of the UK governments must commit to proactively investing in research and putting processes in place so that we can speed up diagnosis and improve treatment options." We are all aware of the poor state of the NHS in seeing and treating cancer patients within the target time of 2 months. Less than 6 in 10 cancer patients were seen in the 2-month target. The fall to 59.3% means that 40% of all cancer patients are likely to see their cancer hurtle towards stage 4 and ultimately an early demise. This situation is sad when you consider that the only recommendation that the government organisation is that chemo, surgery and radiation therapies are the only magic bullet for cancer, and they are the only ones utilising this so-called cure. The exposure of corruption amongst the most senior politicians has eroded faith in the basic trust that we hold for them to manage us in a fair and democratic way. We no longer trust the police to find culprits, and their ability to solve crimes has plumbed new depths. Funding for the councils to look after social care is so inadequate that these once bastions of local democracy are going bankrupt, and we are unable to support the sick and elderly at a local level. The future does indeed look bleak, but we must not give up. We must learn to look after ourselves, to treat ourselves when we become sick, to seek out the best locations for providing treatments that do not involve destroying our immune systems, of leaving us dependent upon opioids, or of destroying our liver and kidneys with chemicals that enrich a small number of greedy companies out to gain from the ignorance of the poor. The medicine of the future will be frequency and light healing, infrared, oxygen, ozone, hydrogen, herbal remedies that worked for hundreds of years and will continue to do so, acupuncture, and especially good nutrition. We need to wake up the ignorant, seek out those who require this treatment, and guide them to our centres, where they can find comfort and treatments that do not injure them. The energy enhancement system is the future, and this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning, and changes have only just begun. We are leading the charge. Our children's future is in our hands, so let us turn our vision into reality and words into better health before our children become disillusioned. Thank you.
Thanks, Alistair. I guess we'll do maybe a shortened Q&A, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you're up for that. Maybe the two of you can sit on stage and we can have a roaming mic. Alistair, thank you.
Thank you both very much for a great presentation. One question, have either of you had any experience with severe psychiatric conditions, for example, schizophrenia, psychosis, depression, bipolarism?
You name it, we have seen it. Anything and everything wants to heal and function perfectly and optimally. So that you've...
Oh my goodness, yes. I didn't realise that there were so many mentally sick, ill people until I opened the centre. And I think one of the worst two that I've seen so far in the 8 months or so that I've been open has definitely been addiction. An addiction to, you name it, sex, drugs and rock and roll. One of the videos that I have on my website, the videos that you saw were just a snippet. I mean, I have several dozen videos. I don't want to appear in any video. I'm not here to be famous. I'm here to have my clients heal themselves. And then one of the most interesting videos was a guy called Ian who had HIV, Streptococcus B, C. He had Streptococcus. He had so many illnesses on him. One of them which was addiction. But he, after 400 hours, he was a very, very different man. And it's interesting how we have spent a lot of today looking at people who are physically ill. And I put one of my clients up today talking about mental illness. And I think the mental illness side is something that none of us really see enough of here. But actually opening a centre, my goodness, I'm seeing a lot of it. And I think one of the worst that I'm seeing is the anger management or lack of anger management. There's a huge angry population out there who are angry at themselves, angry at everybody else. It's quite hard to treat, and I'm sure Sandra will have seen a lot of them. It's difficult to know how many hours they're going to take to get healed, but sadly, probably an awful lot longer than any burns victim. You saw Uta up there, who I put her husband on as well. What I didn't say at the end is actually she's gone back to work. She was given 1 year to live, and she's gone back to work. We're seeing some pretty sad cases of addiction, mental illness, and they're quite hard to treat. And I think that some of, dare I say it, stage 4 cancer is almost easier to treat than the mental illness. And I think those of us who are sane, which I hope are most of this room, do not realise that when you meet a very mentally ill person, they are very, very, very ill, far worse than stage 4 cancer. And it's quite hard for me when someone comes up to me and says, I've got a lot of mental issues. How many hours do I need? And I'm thinking, how long's a piece of string? And I think I would honestly say it's the hardest thing for me to see any major change without some long hours. And unfortunately, because of the way they are, they tend not want to stay very long. They'll just do a short while and then just say it didn't work, and they're on to the next thing.
Along those lines, gotta wanna is kind of they gotta wanna change some of it, and it's giving people the energy to change. You can't make them change. You can't make them let go of, love is letting go. You can't make them let go of their, and wanting to change. And a lot of that's the diet too. Quit feeding the old dis-ease or old patterns or old programs. But we've seen tremendous reversals of alcoholism or drug addictions and all kinds of addictions and things, because it does help give people the energy to change. And we've seen such total miracles. Somebody with HIV that was given, they were on like 80 medications or something, given less than a month to live, and they're celebrating their a year later, their birthday, and we love miracles. We've seen anything and everything heal. But the power that made the body heals the body, and this is like plugging back into that cosmic light socket of universal, infinite, unlimited power and light and love, and turning that on. And everybody just really wants to be turned on. Back to my double blonde study. Everybody wants to be turned on, right?
Firstly, thank you. Thank you for your stand and sharing this information and having it available to us and around the world. My question is, you probably have addressed it on several occasions, but when you're on mainstream medication, whether it be for chemo or heart disease or diabetes, could you just speak to that a little bit, whether it's safe? Obviously, I hear you say it is in some ways to use in the system, but if people are on chemotherapy or they have type 1 diabetes or they have cardiac issues, what is the situation with them entering the energy enhancement system and using their medication? Could you please speak to that? Thank you.
I would definitely like to answer that one first. And I know Sandra will definitely want to answer that question. The people who've come to me with medication have normally managed to reduce their medication within 50 hours of treatment. And over time, some of them have gone off the treatment totally. They've come in on lots and lots of pills. So one of the reasons I showed Azita on there, who has lupus, she was on so many pills. She was actually working in a shop opposite me on the other side of the road, and she was taking so many pills that in the end the pills were doing nothing. And I think Sandra will add to this, is that the trouble is with when you start taking pills over a while, they just no longer work. And she was in such a poor way. She came across to my centre in tears and said, I can no longer work, I can't support my family, I can't work, I can't walk. She came across in crutches, crying, and I just said, go in the EE room. And 5 hours later, you saw what had happened. She had 5 hours in there, and came out with no pain, and she left her crutches behind, and she carried them back to work. I actually now employ her, because at least she can, I allow her to go in the room every Sunday. All my staff have free healthcare every Sunday, and it allows her to work, earn a living for her family, and to have a happier life.
Yeah. That kind of says it. That covered quite a bit. Yeah, I can never have too much good energy. So, I don't know, I think that was a good answer. But no, I do have another suggestion. Anybody that's on medications, all the different medications, this is just hyper healthy energy. That's all. Just hyper healthy energy. There is no contraindication. But bring the medications in. It'll help them allow the medications to be more biocompatible, and they can start, like the person with AIDS that was on 70, 80 medications, went back and said, which ones can I step back? They started working with the doctor to step back, step back, step back, and went on to do extraordinarily well. So it gives the body the energy to change. And then, you can start work with the doctor, but it's going to help reduce the toxicity of all the medications. But I do recommend bringing the system. You do that too, right? Yeah, bring them in, because it'll allow them to be much more biocompatible, so they're not so toxic to the body.
Hi, you mentioned that your patient Azita recovered from her pain after 5 hours in the system. And I'm wondering, is that a sustained pain-free effect, or did she have to go on and do... I'm interested in the difference between the hours. Like, a lot of the patients were mentioning 200 hours and 400 hours, and yet this girl Azita had a profound positive effect after 5 hours. So can you explain that?
I mean, I've stopped using the word miracle because it's become so devalued now in my centre, and I actually sort of banned the word. Azita came in almost in a state of paralysis, where she just could no longer work. And the fact that she left didn't mean that her lupus had finished. She's been actually a very interesting case study, because I didn't even know what lupus was until I saw her. And one of the interesting things that she's actually been logging what happens. Now, remember, this is a girl who's actually going to stop working completely because she could no longer work. And I got her back into the shop. I then offered her a job and said, come and talk about your illness. And a little while ago, she had a relapse, and she's taken photographs, and she's actually going to do a little a video of it, which I think Sandra will be very interested. So with the lupus, the skin on her hands turns a really dark, nasty red colour. In fact, a bit like your top, goes very, very dark. She took a photograph of that when she had a setback. It was about a couple of weeks later after that video. And she spent the night in there, and in the morning her hand was completely clear. And actually since then since she's been working for me, she's had no more major attacks. And one of the interesting, I think there are two things, and this is what Kieran is going to discover. There are certain things that heal very quickly when we talk about 8 hours or 10 hours or 20 hours. And actually lupus is one of them. And there are a lot of lupus sufferers out there who know nothing about the EE system. And how do we get to them? I don't know, we just got to keep working at it. But lupus is one, and believe it or not, strokes is the other. So for those, I didn't play my number one miracle because I'm playing it at my conference next week. So I didn't play it here. But I had somebody who had 3 strokes and was left as a vegetable, and he'd been like that for 1.5 years. And he came into my centre in a wheelchair. I've got a video of him before he started, and he's just looking. All he can do is move his eyes. He can move the 4 fingers on his left hand, and he can move his head from left to right. And he couldn't talk, he couldn't do anything else. That was it. And by the time he left and had done 200 hours, he was walking on a Zimmer frame, talking to me, and had movement in every single limb, and had complete movement over his whole body. So things like that in literally just a few short weeks was one of the ones that reduced me to tears when I walked in. And I'd seen him as a vegetable, and when I walked in on him after a week, and it was fairly early on from my ownership of the EE system, and I walked in expecting just to see him lying there comatose, and he was sitting in his wheelchair, and I walked up to him, and remember, he had been utterly paralysed. He had no movement in any limb at all, and I walked up to him, and he put out his arm, and he said, "Thank you." and that was the first time he'd spoken. And I burst into tears. So it is a very emotional job, but it's so rewarding. And those quick miracles will have reduced, a number of them have reduced me to tears, because I'm just so shocked at how quickly people can heal. But on the other hand, there are other things where it is taking an awful lot longer. And it's very difficult just to say, when someone says, how many hours? You know, it's quite hard to just say, oh yeah, it'll be 23 and a half and then it'll all be done. It doesn't work like that. One of the ones, I'm keeping adding on here. So I've got a few people who've been terminal stage 4. And you can imagine for somebody like me who's an entrepreneur and never had to really ever deal with death apart from my mother's when I was 18. And she died of breast cancer, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. I have a number of people who are terminal. As you saw there, Uta was terminal with motor neurone disease, and she's gone back to work. And I have Jude, who is working with me on the conference, and she's terminal stage 4 with breast cancer. She had an MRI scan 2 weeks ago, and her tumour is now 1 centimetre smaller, and she's no longer terminal, and she's done no chemotherapy, no radiotherapy, and no surgery.
Yeah, healing, it means wholeness, means holiness, and it is a process. And we have all kinds of instant crazy healings, but also you just never know too. It's also an unwinding, you know. And, you know, like that peer-reviewed published study on reversal of seizure disorder. Dr. Shindani called up all freaked out, oh my God, she just had the longest seizure ever, ah! And it's like, great, because that was the body finally pushing out the rest of what created the seizures in the first place. So re-experiencing the things on the way out is part of what detox is, and detoxification is a very, very important part of the process. And the body knows what it's doing. The power that made the body heals the body. And the body, you want to honor that infinite innate intelligence of the body. It knows what to do. It's not, if it pushed everything out at once, it would kill you on its way out. So it's like peeling an onion, it's an unwinding. So it's about continually supporting the detox with the salt baths and minimally foot soaks and sauna, but also changing the diet. You can't expect to be super healthy if you're still poisoning yourself. Quit putting in what created the issues in the first place. So you can't for example, we want to give people the energy to change. The energy to change. And for example, with cancer, you want to quit eating the sugars and the chemicals or the meat or the different things. You want to support the body in healing by making healthier, more intelligent, and more informed choices all the way around.
Sorry, I'd like to congratulate the speakers earlier, but I think one of the major things for people in this room, and I think we all need to realise it, it's actually not just about healing, right? And what I mean, it's about being healthier and living better, right? When I went on the system in Mora's in Tipperary, the 24 system, it was like an elevation, and it's a little bit like you say about being orgasmic, right? And if we were all orgasmic every single day, we'd all live an awful lot longer, right? But people think there's a limit. There isn't a limit to how long we live, because Methuselah lived forever. And when you go back into the Bible, and if we saw the rest of it that's buried underground, right? Our spirit and our souls can live a long, long time, and we just need to keep the body to that level. And I think that's what this system can do for the masses, not just about curing ill health. And congratulations.
Yeah, it's about activating that light within us, turning the lights on, because we are ultimately bodies and beings of light, eternal life. You know, so it is, you know, I'm in the bloodline of Martin Luther. Anybody ever hear of that guy? He led a reformation. It's kind of in my blood. Okay.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question. Has MS ever been treated by the system?
Yeah, the founder of the MS Society was one of my first reversals, and then she wasn't allowed to tell anybody because they wanted it to be untreatable. But anyway, we've seen lots of reversals of MS, but I'm going to pass it to you.
I was actually quite upset because when I first opened, I had a lady in a wheelchair who, her MS was so bad, her legs were completely and utterly paralysed. And she was quite an elderly lady, and I had assumed that she had saved up a lot of money just to come. And obviously for us, a lot of us here, we assume that £100 here or there is worth paying for healing, and I think probably £100 to her was an awful lot of money. She'd only been with me for no more than about 5 hours, and I was just walking through the room, and she's just stopped me, and she said, "Look," she said, "my legs haven't moved for 8 years." And she said, "Look at my foot, I can put it up and down like that." And that was only after 5 hours, and unfortunately she didn't return, and I'd like to have taken her on. So my actual next target is to find a serious MS sufferer and get them. I'd like to get them the whole way through. But even she was shocked, and I was shocked, and I'd like to have taken a lot further. But obviously money and health, as we're all aware, it's, raising the money to heal yourself can be quite a challenge.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maura and I'm in South Tipperary. I'm the owner of the 24-unit system. But I had a lady in last week and she had 3 sessions of 3 hours. And 5 weeks ago, her bloods, her CA bloods, were 40. They should be 19, of course, and they're 246 now. And she's just wondering what is going on in her body, and she would like an answer fairly quickly because she was supposed to come to me again on Monday, but she said she will cancel it for the moment because she really doesn't know what's going on.
I can answer that. I can answer that. Don't you worry. Get her back in. So one of them.
As possible.
Yeah, so that's actually a small on the bloods. I've had clients with stage 4, and they've come to me at 500, and when it gets to 1,000, they're going, "Really, should I continue?" So what is interesting is for those that have had 200 to 500 or 500 to 1,000, or I've got one lady who's in at the moment at 3,500. What I've noticed, and I'm sure hopefully Sandra's going to back me up, and I haven't asked her on this, when people start the first 60 hours or so in my 24-unit system, their bloods go crazy. And for me, I know, having rung Sandra at one stage and said help, and she did say, yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. People with tumours start to discharge, the tumour starts to break up, and as it breaks up, it flows through the body, and people who are coming into an EE system always love getting tested, and they go off and get their blood test because it's free. And they come in and say, well, I'm at 200 now, or I'm at 300. And then a few weeks later, they just want to see, is the E system doing anything good? And they come back and say, oh my God, it's 500 or 600. And should I be worried? And first time round, I was very worried. Second time round, I was even more very worried. By the third time, I absolutely had to ring Sandra and say, what happened? And actually, I have noticed that when they come back, after about another month of treatment, and they go, it's now 100 or it's now 60, I'm going, so the answer is yes, it shoots up without exception. I think every single stage 4 cancer that I've got probably about 36 people with stage 4 in my centre at the moment, and I think every single one of them their bloods have either doubled or trebled before collapsing.
Yeah, as the body is trying to push it out, you want to support the detox. More baths. You know, I mean, Gerson therapy was doing the enemas, coffee enemas, things like that. You got to let that shift go. Literally, as the body is trying to push it out, you want to do everything to support the body healing and not stop the process. You know, you don't want to hold on to it. It's like get right back in. The body knows what it's doing, but also quit feeding the cancers or any, you know, don't give it anything that would feed the cancer. You want to feed the body, you know, so no sugar, no meat, no wheat, things like that. You got to change, you know, shift or get off the planet. They can't keep eating what they've been eating that created the cancer and expect a different result. So we give people the energy to change, but you also want to work with the diets, you know, so that they're eating more greens and sugar, you know, of course, feeds cancer like crazy. So you want to get them off the sugar and things like that. Meat, same thing, feeds the cancer. So you want to support the body and support them in making the changes. You know, quit poisoning yourselves. Quit feeding the cancer, feed the body instead.
So sorry, Sandra, then how many hours would you suggest that she should use the system for, roughly?
Can't have too much good energy, ever. Cannot, and people need to understand that this is just healthy energy. How healthy do people want to get, how fast is more the question. That's why it's good that he talks about hundreds of hours. We see miracles, crazy miracles after a half hour, after 2 hours, after 4 hours. We recommend minimally 2 hours at a time, but it's really better to sleep in it. That's why the overnights are so much better. Give the body more energy to change, but that detox bath, the body's trying to push toxins out of every nook and cranny it can get it out of. That salt bath, the salt will pull like a magnet and pull it out. The skin's our largest organ of elimination, but it's also going to, work with, alkalinizing. It's Alkalinize or Die is one of the books on cancer. So you've got to reverse the acidity, but don't put into the body what would feed the cancer. You want to feed the body some more greens, fresh live raw avocados and things like that, nuts and beans, and change the diet.
Thank you, Dr. Sandra. Thank you, Alistair.
I was going to just add a little bit to that because the words how many hours must come up about 50 times a day. If it helps, because I have a 24-unit system, so I can only talk about a 24-unit system here. For somebody suffering from stage 4, as I said, I've got a lot of people with stage 3, stage 4. All I can say is the first 60 hours, they see practically nothing other than their blood's going crazy, and they panic, and their oncologists say, well, I've told you you shouldn't be doing it. You should come and get some chemo. At the end of 60 hours, we start to see a major change. So from 60 hours, you see the first chink of light. And the first chink of light is the collapse in the bloods. So the bloods then will halve, go down 3/4 or so. So there's a major, major change at around about 60 hours for most people. Between 60 and 100 hours, we start to see some major changes. So they may start to get some clearer PET scans. They may start to see some difference in MRI scans. And from the 100 to 200 hours is when all the magic happens. And so the biggest changes in everybody on stage 4 is the 100 to 200 hours. For people who've got, so Miguel, whose video you saw there, he was terminal stage 4. He had a 12-centimetre tumour inside him. He's done 200 hours, he's come back and done a bit more. He will need a lot, but if you're terminal and you're stage 4, what's your life worth? How much are you prepared to spend in time sitting in a 24-unit system? And the answer is, I don't know how long it takes to do 12 centimetres, but 12 centimetres is a big tumour. And when he said, well, would 100, when he rang me first of all, he said, do you think 100 hours is enough? And I'm going, 100 hours for a 12 centimetre tumour? I don't think so. It does take a while. And people are so used to taking pills, creams, opioids, and just treating the symptoms and not treating the actual problem itself. And the energy enhancement system is all about treating the cancer. It's about treating the illness. It's not a magic wand that in 5 hours the client is going to go, oh, I've got no pain and I've got no cancer.
Do you hear that every day?
Yes. So if that helps on the amount of hours, certainly for cancer, and obviously you saw Uta there, she's done 300, last time I saw her, which was about 10 days ago, she's done about 340 hours. She is in amazing form. As I said, she's gone back, she's working 2 days a week, and she was told she was going to be dead in 6 months' time. So what's 300 hours in your life if you can go back to work and have a nice time? And she's gone on holiday, and I actually have to remind her that she's not supposed to have lots of parties, which she's doing. She's gone out and grabbed a whole lot of friends, and they come around and they party. And I said, you do remember that you are still sick and we're just trying to heal you. So please don't go overboard about the drink and the alcohol and the meats, the German sausages. And yeah. So I've talked to her about diet and nutrition, and I cannot say diet and nutrition enough. And I know Sandra said it about 20 times. I'd love to say it about 40 times. It is the hardest thing as a centre owner to go up to somebody and say, you are fat, you need to lose weight, you need to stop eating sugar, you need to stop eating gluten, you need to become a vegetarian for a short while, you need to look after your health. You can't do that. So you have to do it subtly, and you have to just talk and use the word, have you thought about your nutrition? Have you thought about your diet? And I think when people do have cancer, they are prepared to listen to you. And I come from a family, my father was chairman and then president of the Institute of Optimum Nutrition in London. And I was brought up learning all about nutrition and the fact that you can heal your body solely through nutrition. It's quite a painful experience, but you can do it. And for those has anyone read the Ty Bollinger books on treating cancer? No, if nobody has, and anyone that knows people with cancer, he's a very interesting American author. It's Ty Bollinger, as in the champagne. You cannot buy them in Europe. You have to buy them on Amazon.com because they're banned. So he's written about 8 books on cancer, healing yourself through diet, through nutrition. So they're very interesting, but you can only buy them on Amazon.com. You they don't actually appear. If you put Amazon.co.uk or Amazon, any of the European ones, they don't appear. So.
Yeah, it's shift or get off the planet is what I tell people if there's cancer. It's critical mass. Shift or get off the planet. They got to change. Can't keep feeding the cancer. So I hope that helps some of it. But that, I go right there with people, and we've seen anything and everything heal. However, you've got to change. You got to quit feeding it. So it's very, very important to give people the energy to change their mind, to change their body, to change their diet, and to make those changes for themselves and not put anything in that feeds a cancer. So that means no sugar, no meat. There's, no sugar, no meat, no dairy. It's like gluten's another thing. But when I give people the energy to change their mind, to change their diet, to change their life. And then we've had people be, I'll give an example. I had somebody that was 100% cancer-free. 2 doctors, oh, you're 100% cancer-free. She went back to eating sugar, went back to eating meat, and the cancer blew up, you know. So it's shift or get off the planet. Everybody got that?
Speaking of shifting, we're going to have to round up and just shift the event on because we've a lot to get through. I'd like to thank these guys, phenomenal. I mean, it was just unbelievable, you know, what Dr. Sandra said this morning. It was just, it's overwhelming actually, just the amount of stuff, slide by slide. But it's physics, it's science, and she just had the intellect to bring it to the planet. The other thing I want to mention, just from my own perspective, one of the things I love what Dr. Sandra has put out, it's the humanitarian. This is a planetary solution and a core technology, and it's very intentional. It's a decision people have to make. The fundamental message is one has to decide to make a change and make a shift, whether you're healthy and you want to be even healthier, or whether you're chronic, or wherever you are at in the journey. The system meets you where you're at, but one must make a decision. It comes from there first, what you want to change and what you want to improve. And also, you know, the obvious things, which we all know is diet and so on. So we're in a battle for survival, it sounds to me. One of the things I'm fascinated to hear more about is the effects of radiation. We don't know what we don't know. And that's one thing, you know, the ladies have said to me, May as well there, you know, with all the flying I do around the world, the effects of the radiation. So the 40 or 50 hours I've done in Alistair's place and over in the States, I found I got about 10 to 15% more energy stroke stamina and more at one with myself. Whatever the hell caused that, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to doing another 50 or 100 hours because I think the leaders of this world need to wake up and be at their optimum self to lead truly, because I think it does help. It's a physical solution that absolutely helps the mental, absolutely helps the spiritual. So I think it's a responsibility level, and we're just being so bombarded by life imposing itself on us. So as Sandra says, you just need to get in there and chill and let the system just imbue, and off you go and out you go and create better effects in the world. Sorry for going on. The viewpoint we took for this event is that every person coming here is a life improved. Whether it's your own life, your partners, your friends, getting the data will have the ripple effect. This is an awareness campaign. That's all this is. We're trying to get Ireland booming and get the Irish culture back to where it needs to be and where it was, who we really are as artists and freedom fighters, and we need to be at our full potential for that. That's a viewpoint. I want to acknowledge Carmel here. She was the first centre owner in Ireland. Stand up, Carmel. And also Sandra as well, who has one in Clonmel. And then, yeah, and Dia as well. And then Monish is opening one there, and Josephine. There, Money and Josephine in Donegal. Sandra has taken a huge chunk of time out of her schedule with her daughter May to come to Ireland for the very first time and grace us with her presence and knowledge and humanitarian. This goes way beyond us. We're lucky to be here. It's a credit to you to be here yourselves. But let's make a big impact. Let's get more and more centres open in Ireland. This gentleman here, what I loved about him is standard operating procedures. What he does exactly what Sandra put on the tin. Just follow the bloody model, and it works. End of story. From cradle to grave, from getting in the system to having the salt bath and everything he spoke about in his own speech. He's the most compassionate entrepreneur I've ever met in my life. He's a lovely individual, and he so much compliments the technology and endorses it. Sorry for going on, my God. Over and out. Have a cup of tea, relax. Thank you.